Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wednesday Workshop with Sew in Common, where we create patchwork in the hoop of our embroidery machine, like you see here. Wednesday Workshop is our midweek show where we do fun projects and stuff, all with the Build a Quilt system. But today, we are actually working on part one of our Lucky Charm project. Now, why part one? Because as most of you know, last Friday I had a really bad fall and I've injured myself pretty good. And part of what I've injured are my wrists. And my doctors have told me no overdoing it. I couldn't take my guitar lesson this week. I'm not allowed to use weights after I run in my workout. And I'm only allowed to do a certain amount of minutes a day on my machine and typing and all, because they want all of the swelling to be out of my wrists so they can scan them. There's nothing broken, thank goodness, but I do have a bit of a lump here in this wrist now, and they don't know what I might have torn there, or if I've got now a ganglion cyst there that's popped open or something. They just don't know. So they want that swelling to go away, and then they're going to rescan my wrist. So I'm on a little bit of a limited diet this week of my working because of this. So I couldn't do everything all at once. So we're breaking it up. Today we're going to do part one. Friday, you'll see the part two video. And Sunday, which is our normal Quilt Lab video, is going to be our final and part three. And what we are creating this week will be done just in time for St. Patrick's Day. But I say, if you like clover as much as I do, and you love the symbolism of clover, you're going to love it, because we're making this. Now, I want to tell you that this that you're seeing right here is a design that I created several years ago for traditional quilters. That pattern is available on the website. The proceeds from that pattern originally went to a food bank, and we were able to donate, I think, several $100s that year. And they were so grateful. However, for the month of March, while we're doing our Lucky Charms topper, I've made it zero. It's completely free, because the Lucky Charms Build a Quilt block or pattern that we're doing is also completely free. I was thinking about whether or not I would charge for the pattern. We'd donate again. But because I have to break this up into sections and can't give it to you all at once and all, I just thought no. And also, it's the perfect time to do a free pattern for everybody. You know, our Build a Quilt patterns that come in the 3 sizes every month, there's a little bit of a fee for those. Wednesday Workshop is typically all about our Build a Quilt Basics system and all, but I don't want to. I always feel like I want to give you all something several times a year, just to say thank you for your love and support. I've gotten some really lovely notes wishing me well since my fall, which was completely my fault. This pattern for Lucky Charms Build a Quilt version is going to be free as well. It's going to be in 3 parts. Once we've done all 3 parts of the video and everything, I'll combine the pattern into one, but go ahead and download the individual sections so you can get your digital files, because the block we're working on, the main block in this piece, is our clover block. Now this, as you can see, is a 3-leaf clover, but I did a little, I wanted to check what is the actual meaning of clover and what does it represent, because you hear different things. So the word clover, although, you know, it's a herbaceous plant and it's used a lot for feed and farm animals. I will tell you, the purple flower, the beautiful purple flower part of the clover, I used to love to eat those when I was a kid. Me and my best friend, we would because the yards weren't sprayed with a bunch of chemicals and gunk. And so we would pick them and eat them. Never got sick once. I don't think I'd do that today because we put too much junk on our lawns and stuff. I don't think I'd do that. But the clover is just beautiful. So a beautiful purple flower. And then typically the lovely green 3 leaves are the leaf part of it. However, we all know that there's that also that other type of clover leaf that you find occasionally. It's the elusive four-leaf clover, and it has a little meaning too. So clover, it means to be carefree, prosperous. It also, and this is the part I love, it means someone that blossoms. I think that's just so beautiful. So it's a beautiful girl's name. If you're looking for a girl's name, maybe you're having a baby and you know you're having a girl and you're looking for a unique and beautiful name, why not try Clover? I think it's gorgeous. If you know a Clover, I bet they fit those definitions. I always find people tend to end up fitting the meaning of their names, even if they, I mean, as babies, you wouldn't know that, but I think as they grow, they kind of do for some reason. And so here is the idea behind the three-leaf clover: faith, hope, and love. That's what they represent, the leaves: faith, hope, and love. And if you find that elusive four-leaf clover, that fourth leaf adds luck, right? Like luck of the Irish. So this is perfect for St. Patrick's Day coming up. So our lucky charm block. Now today we're going to work specifically on the leaf block. That is the part that I'm going to demonstrate for you today. And in the instructions that you will get, it will tell you how many to make for the project. So first thing I'm going to tell you is go get your green fabrics out of your stash. You know, I find that greens are not necessarily colors we use a lot, but they're gorgeous. And for spring, it's the perfect color. Everything is coming alive and growing and everything is turning green. So go find your greens. I suggest that you find 4 different greens for your 4 clovers that are going. So we're using 3-leaf clovers, but we're doing 4 of them. So I say that 4th clover is giving us overall luck, if you want to look at it that way. But today we're going to work on this leaf. And there's something, the other reason I chose this for now is because there's something about this leaf that also kind of works along with what we're doing this month in our Quilt Lab block of the month, the St. George's Cross. Block A and block B in this cross is made with what's called a flippy corner. I love that. I love that name. The flippy corner reminds me of little girls who have flippy skirts on their dresses and like to twirl. I loved to twirl when I was little. But the flippy corner, because the flippy corner is not, it's never like a full half of your square or even a quarter of your square. Those tend to be your quarter square triangles, your half square triangles. But your flippy corners, like in this one, block A of our St. George's Cross, the 2 flippy corners are opposite of one another. And in the center one, they're side by side on the top or on the bottom, depending on how you rotate it. But the flippy corner helps you to shape your project. So if you are making what I call a figural project, which is what this is, these are figure blocks or figural blocks, then that flippy corner helps you make the shape. And you can see it in the block with the whole clover put together. Okay. And so in this project, we're doing flippy corners. This one has 3 flippy corners, the 2 top and 1 at the bottom. And that helps shape our leaf, just like we see in this single block. So that's going to be the demonstration today for part 1. And then Friday, we will do part 2, which is going to be, I'm trying to fold this so you can just see it, the stem block, which is technically a flippy corner. I know this piece in the center is really slim, but really this ends up being flippy corners. They're a little bit bigger flippy corners, but that's what they are because they're helping to shape that stem. And then we'll also be doing these squares, okay? And you're not doing a single square at a time. We're doing more than one at a time so you can get bigger sections that you're going to put together for the project, so you're not sewing all those little squares together. Okay, so that is for this week. And at the end of this, then there will be the demonstration video for the leaf. Okay, so what I want you to do is, and this will be in the instruction bit, find yourself 4 greens that can be your 4 clovers. Okay. Now, in this one, this original one that I created, all of this fabric, wait, let me double check. I don't want to fib to you. Nope. Most of this fabric is Kimberbell Basics. This one right here is not a Kimberbell Basic. I don't know where it came from. Even the green is a Kimberbell Silky Solid. If you're looking for good solids, 2 brands make the best solids, in my opinion. Well, Kona makes great ones, but Tula Pink makes great solids, and Kimberbell makes great, they call them silky solids. They are silky too. They're like nothing else. So you might want to look for those in your local shops or your favorite online shop if you're looking for some really good quality solids. Kimberbell, Tula Pink, and of course, Kona is always my go-to. There are others, but those are the 3 that I go to on a regular basis. So just find 4 greens for your clovers. And I want you to find a 5th green that is darker for the stem. And the reason we're doing a green stem is because when clovers bloom, it's fresh, it's in the early spring, and they go into the summer. And those little stems don't ever get brown like the stem of a leaf would get. They're always that greenish color. So you're finding 5 greens in total, 4 for the clovers, 1 for the stem. Okay. And those colors will also end up being the same fabrics you use for all the little blocks. Okay. So go ahead and find those. I would say you want, oh, and you'll need white. You'll need white for your flippy corners. Now, in the one that we are doing, we are not doing this white border here with Build a Quilt. I'm still working on borders, a border set for Build a Quilt. I'm not happy with where it is yet, so I've taken that border out. So it's going to be more like that. Well, it'll be nicer than that, but it'll be more like that. So what I want you to do is get yourself white. You'll need it for stems, and you'll need it for the flippy corners. If you don't want to use white, I know a couple of you have written to me and said, I can't stand white. Excuse me just a second. I even have my green mug. Had to have a little coffee there. My throat getting a little dry. Yes, I have to lift it with both hands. It's a really heavy mug, and I'm not supposed to lift it. Do you know how hard it is to be careful with your hands all the time? Oh my gosh. If you've ever had any hand surgery or anything, you know what I mean. It can be difficult. But if you don't want to use white, choose another background color that you really like with green. I would say that if all of your greens are in a medium colorway or are these kind of little ditzy prints, but they're all kind of in that medium range of color, find yourself something that is very light for the background. You should keep the background light for this project. And I highly recommend white. You could try beige with it if you wanted, but I think white again is that bright springtime look. So that's what I'm suggesting for you. Okay. Alrighty, so that information will come in your download today. So today in the download, you're going to get the coloring sheet for the block. You're going to get the cut list and the general fabric information list, which is part of the cut list. There won't be a lot of written instructions in today's download because of the demonstration. You shouldn't need it because once you watch the demonstration, you should be able to do it. I will, at the end on Sunday, have written instructions in the final packet for you as well. But I wanted you to have something today so you could get started on these clovers. Okay, so again, this will be the demonstration today, how to do this flippy corner block. All right, everybody, that is everything you need to know to start part one of the Lucky Charm table topper that we're doing for Wednesday workshop. And today is part one. You can find the download, or you can also find the pattern for our Quilt Lab that we're doing on Sunday. This is our block of the month. I would get this because you're getting 3 different segments. You're getting block B, block A, and the quarter square triangle block in 3 sizes. So you'll have those sizes for your library. And again, it'll give you another whole block to work on this idea of flippy corners and to play with them. So in this set, you're only getting 1 size of everything. But in the Build a Quilt block for Quilt Lab, you're getting 3 sizes. And with these different blocks, you can play with them. See how you shape things. Because again, that's the whole idea behind a flippy corner, is to shape your project to make it figural, okay, or to make it into a figure. All right, everybody, again, so at the website, you can get your patterns. Please, I'd love to see your progress. Please post your photos over at sewuncommon.com on Facebook. I know back on, what day was it? Tuesday, which was yesterday. Okay, yesterday there was some problems with Facebook, but apparently it's all fixed and back up and running. So you shouldn't have a problem with loading your photographs. If you need to contact me, please do so at support@sewuncommon.com. Again, everybody, I'm Diana here at Sew Uncommon. I'm the creator and designer of the Build a Quilt system, where we create patchwork in the hoop, and we are currently starting to work on the beautiful Lucky Charms runner or topper. And if you haven't subscribed to our channel, please do so. Do you realize we're up above 341,000 subscribers now? So the Sew Uncommon family is getting huge. I can't thank you all enough for joining me for this journey. I know it's a learning journey for all of you, and it sure is a learning journey for me too. And I just can't thank you all enough. But if you haven't subscribed, please click the subscribe button and the little bell so that you can set notifications, and go ahead and set them for all so that you know when the different video series that we do come out. Wednesday workshop, Quilt Lab on Sunday. And of course, tomorrow, which is Thursday, is our Riley Blake block challenge. That was week 5's block. This week we're working on block 6, and all the blocks for the Riley Blake challenge in the Build a Quilt system are completely free. That's a completely free challenge through Riley Blake. So I've created the Build a Quilt blocks for free as well. So you can grab those. All of the first 5 of them are out there. The 6th one will be out tomorrow. And until next time, please like and share. We appreciate it very much. And as always, go sew life beautiful. Bye for now, everybody. Hi, everybody. Diana, one more time before we do the demo block. I just realized that I told you in the last section that you were going to get the pattern in 3 pieces. You're actually going to get the entire pattern and all of the digital design sets today when you download. Everything will come together. But there are no full written out step-by-step instructions, because that amount of extra work I couldn't do with my hands. So that is what our Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday videos will do for you. But you'll get the cut sheets, the coloring sheets, the fabric and cutting information, how many to make of each one, all of that. You'll just need to follow along on these 3 videos for how to do each block. Now, if you're confident that you know how to do the Build a Quilt system already, go for it. But so Friday, we're going to do the double chain and the stem block. And then on Sunday, we will do the layout and finish everything up. So it just is a little extra time for me to work without damaging my hands. But you're getting your whole pattern block today. I think I was confusing you earlier on that. So I wanted to tell you that. All right, everybody. Sew life beautiful. Now let's go get our demo. Okay, everybody, here we are at the machine, and today this is the demo for the leaf block of our Lucky Charm square. I need to repress this. My little corners here are flipping up, but for the Lucky Charm square, you will be making 3 leaf blocks for 4 clovers. So 3 times 4 is 12, so you're going to be making a total of 12 of these. You're going to be an expert at making the flippy corner block. And I just want to show you down here, I told you that you need to make or pick out 4 greens. I kind of want to show you the greens that I'm using. So let me move my camera down just a wee bit. There, you can see it better. So this is kind of a light green. So you know how when spring comes, everything starts out that really light, kind of a shiny green, and then as it matures and it gets more chlorophyll, it becomes more medium and darker to whatever color it's going to end up being. So I'm using that color for one. I'm using this little star fabric for another. That's kind of a medium. And then this is, again, one of those Lori Holtby cross stitch fabrics that I love so much in a green. And I would say that that could be considered medium or dark, depending on what you're using it with. And then this is my 4th one, and this is the one I'm going to use for the demo today. Now, this, oddly enough, is a very deep kind of a turquoise or aqua color with these little lime green dots. And it works perfectly as a dark green for my project. I just love it. And then the next video, which will come out on Friday, we'll be doing the stem block part of our overall clover. And that needs to have a dark, dark green in it. Something darker, like an evergreen color. But these are the 4 colors I've chosen. So as you can see, just choose 4 greens. All these greens will look great together. I don't know that I would normally pick them for a project together, but for this, for the clover, it's going to look great. So let me set these aside. And then, of course, you're going to have a whole stack of your little triangles for your flippy corners. And we will talk about that, or you will get that information in your packet that you download today, how many of these to cut. So again, here is our block. So as you can see in my hoop, I've got my 5x7 hoop. I've loaded my wash away stabilizer, and I did 1 block here. I kind of wanted you to see it because you can get 2 leaf blocks or 2 stem blocks in 1 hooping. I didn't use a larger hoop because I wanted you all to see what it would look like in your hoop if you're only using a 5x5. However, if you use a larger hoop, you can certainly fit more in there. Now, after I did this one, you can see how much fabric I have left over here. I had that much left on this side as well, but I went ahead and trimmed it off a little bit. I gave myself enough to trim my 1/4 inch, but I trimmed it off a little bit so I don't have anything hitting when I'm doing my second one. So this one I've done in the upper left corner. Now I've moved my pattern over to the bottom right corner, and that's where we're going to start. And the very first part is going to be stitched down right on the stabilizer, like it happens mostly with our Build a Quilt system with our blocks in the hoop. Now I'm going ahead and using my pearl gray thread instead of black because I want to use this for my overall project, but I'll show you what everything looks like. I'll pull it out so you can see it. And I have my little fabric glue stick right here ready. And you're going to need your little trimming scissors ready and a little bit of your embroidery tape. Okay, so now I'm going to stitch machine step 2 also directly onto the stabilizer. Okie dokie. Let me take this out now so I can show you. I'm going to move that up just a wee bit there. That's good. All right, let's take this out. I'm going to hold this up so you can see it. So there is our boundary box. And the second step created basically the shape of our leaf. So what I'm going to do now is place a little bit of my glue stick right in here where the leaf fabric will go. And I'm going to place my leaf fabric, my main fabric, right on top of there. Put it back in, and now we'll do machine step 3 to tack that down. Now this block is going to require a minimal amount of trimming, like we did if you watch Sunday's video. In the demonstrations, you noticed we had a little bit of trimming on our corners. That's exactly what we're going to do here. So now we're going to remove this from the hoop. I'm going to take my scissors. Now I'm a lefty, if this looks odd to you, but here you can see is one corner. So I'm going to eyeball myself roughly a 1/4 inch. If it's not exactly, if it's a little more, skosh less, it's going to be fine because all your seam allowances are built into the digital pattern. Now, I am keeping all these little corners because these can be used in an upcoming project that we're going to be doing. And this gives me lots of these little pieces in these colors. So I'm saving those. And I've asked you earlier in the year to start saving yours as well for this future project. Now I've cut both there, and I still have, so I cut away for my corners, but I still have all the fabric I need right here beyond my boundary line so that when I trim it out of the stabilizer, everything will be fine. And then I have the third one right here to trim. There we go. Now, the next step, or machine step 4, is to do our first flippy corner. And the first flippy corner is going to be in the upper right. Now, this fabric was placed right side up. All the rest, all your flippy corners are placed right sides together or right side down. Now, since this is cream for me, or this white, it doesn't really matter. But if you happen to be using a fabric that definitely has a front back to it, then you definitely want to place it right side down. Now I'm going to place this back into the machine, and we're going to stitch that down. You don't really need to hold it or anything. I just always keep my hand there just in case. Now I literally only need a dot of glue right there. There we go. Now I'm going to flip my flippy corner and give it a little finger press, and we're going to stitch that down. So I would love to know in the comments, do any of you know anyone named Clover? I just think it's such a beautiful name. I think it has a beautiful meaning to it, and I think it would be a lovely girl's name. Okay, here we're going directly to our bottom flippy corner. We're going to place our next fabric right side down, again, right like that, and stitch. I just think it's beautiful, that name. My nephew and his wife are having a baby, and I believe they're having a baby girl. I don't know if they've chosen a name yet, but Auntie Diana might just put that little bug in their ear to think about the name Clover. Wouldn't that be pretty? And now we'll go into the upper left corner. So we're just doing the corners kind of in a clockwise direction. And we'll place this one right side down and tack it down. Now with this particular block, these flippy corners do need to be taped down before you stitch out your guideline box at the end, and I'm going to show you that in a minute because I'm going to give you a little pro tip here. Let's go ahead and flip that one and stitch it down. And now when I trim this out, my 1/4 inch all the way around, I just put my ruler, my 1/4 inch line of my ruler on my boundary box or on my guideline box. And then that when I trim it, I get that beautiful 1/4 inch all the way around. All my seams are good. And that's what these are going to look like when I trim them out. Okay, now let's take this out, and I want to show you how to tape this down. Do you see how these have the corners, the problems that your foot can run into here and here and maybe here? Normally, here's my pro tip for you. Normally when we tape over the seam line. And a lot of times you need to, but in this case we don't really need to tape on the seam line. We just need these bits of fabric down. So I'm taking a piece and I'm not even putting it on the seam line. This is also going to allow me to reuse this piece of tape several times. I'm just taping that down. That way when my foot comes across there, there's nothing for it to stick on. Now I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm not going to put my tape on my seam line. I'm going to put it out here and get those corners stuck down. And then one more time, I'm going to do that same thing beyond the seam line. And doing it beyond the seam line really helps. You don't get tape stuck in that sometimes you have to, kind of get out of your seam line and stuff. And then again, when you peel that tape off, if you're gentle with it, you can reuse it. And that way you're more efficient with the tape and all. It'll last you longer. Now we're going to stitch down our guideline box. And as you can tell, there's no tape on any of the seams, but all of that fabric that could cause me problems is taped down. And I didn't need to do it over here because as you saw, it was going with that piece of fabric and it wasn't going to end up causing any problems. So that was step 10. And now we're done with that leaf block. And this whole block takes about 2 minutes to stitch. So you can do 2 of them in a hooping at a time. And as you can see now, I'm just peeling off my tape. And since I can reuse it, I'm just going to stick it on the head of my machine so it's there for my next block. If you get any strings on there, just peel them right back off, no problem. Okay, and so now I can remove this from my hoop. I can take it over to my cutting board and I can cut it out. Again, you'll be making 3 of each color. So here I have the 3 that go, I have all of them done, but that, because I've been doing a few a day. And they're going to be placed, always the flippy corners will be to the outside. So outside, 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 outside. And the corner that's left with no white fabric on it, those will all come into the center, just like you see on this completed one. And then the 4th block will end up being the stem. Actually, let me lay it this way so you can see it. It won't matter. The great thing about this block is we'll rotate them and they'll always be in the right place. And then our stems will come together to form an X in the center. So we're going to get that kind of a different secondary pattern look there. But that's how those will come together. Now you don't sew these together yet. We'll sew these together and talk about that on Friday when we do our stem block. And we talk about the little groupings of square blocks that are going to be put together. And again, we're doing more than one at a time so that you're not having to sew all of those together singly. You'll have little groupings of them. All righty, everybody. That is how we do the flippy corner leaf block for our Clover Lucky Charm project. So until Friday, have a great rest of your week. And of course, join us tomorrow for Riley Blake Day. And we'll see you soon. Bye for now.